So, the end result is not the evidence? Coming right on. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Conversation Logical Reason. As always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, as y'all know, I have my concept that I call race accessory. And the reason why I came up with this is because I would always hear black folks, these victim blacks, always repeating the same the same narrative. They just repeat it to the point that it would just become rhetorical. And the race officers were the ones who were coming up with this nonsense, who kept filling black people's head with this foolishness. And that's why I put two and two together, and I called it racist rhetoric. Now, another thing that I found is that so many blacks would regurgitate this stuff, but they couldn't even defend it. They just know the example, and you ask them to explain, they couldn't. They would just babble on, either run for the hills or babble on about a whole bunch of nonsense, but would never explain because they couldn't. Now, end result thinking is one type that I've labeled after listening to these people. And of course, end result thinking is just simply finding any end result, any statistical data, any numbers, any end result that's unfavorable to black people, any area in society in which black people are not equal to or on par with white people, and they label it and they'll say assume it's happening because of racism. Now the problem is that you can't assume why something happened. You have to have the actual evidence and fact to prove why the end result exists. And that's the problem with end result thinking, because it always assumes that the end result, the condition exists because of racism, but they never provide any evidence to prove that it's happening because of racism, because and very rarely, if ever, does it happen because of racism. And this is why I come up with I like to use the powder donut analogy, because there's the expression, seeing is believing. Well, oftentimes when you give people an example of something, it just enforces your point. Kind of like why Jesus spoke in parables. But anyway, you just put yourself in this situation. Let's say you at work and you go on your 15-minute break and you pass by the vending machine that you pass by daily, and you just most of the time just pass it by, but you look in there and you see some powdered donuts and you say, I haven't had powdered donuts as far as I can remember. So you decided to buy some powdered donuts out of the vending machine, and you go to the break room and you sit down at a table, or you put your stuff on the table and your donuts, and you realize, you got the urge to use the bathroom. So you go run to the bathroom and use it. You're in there for about maybe no more than a minute or so. And you come out and you see that your powdered donuts are not on the table, so they're gone. And then you look at another table and you see someone eating powdered donuts. Now, human nature is going to assume that that person took the donuts, your donuts. That's what anybody, their first thought is going to be, did that person take my donuts? The problem is just because the end result is a person is sitting at a table eating powdered donuts, doesn't mean they took your donuts. Okay, they could have. That person could have took your donuts, thought somebody just left them, and went to another table and ate them. Or somebody else could have took the donuts and then left. Why would they take powdered donuts and then eat them there, and then somebody walked in and suspect them of taking the donuts? That person at the table eating their powdered donuts could have also purchased powdered donuts out of the vending machine. Right? That person could have bought the powdered donuts from home. It could be a completely different brand if you actually look at it and investigate. But you can't assume that that person took your donuts just because they're at a table eating donuts. And that's what end result thinking is. I mean, black folks have been so brainwashed and all this nonsense, they just assume everything is race. If it's a white person, they'll say these white supremacists took my donuts, but you don't know that. not unless you have the evidence to back it up. And that's why I always say that the end result is not evidence of anything. That person sitting there eating powdered donuts is not evidence of anything other than the fact that they're sitting there eating powdered donuts. But you don't know if they took yours. You don't know if they brought their own. You're just assuming. And I'm a person, I don't like to accuse anybody of something if I don't know. So I have to investigate first. And if need be, I'll take the loss on something as trivial as powdered donuts. But you can't just go out there and assume somebody's doing something. Anyway, like I say, the end result is not the evidence. Unfortunately, black people only have the end result as evidence because they really don't have anything else as evidence. In most cases, the things that they argue about, they really have no evidence other than circumstantial evidence, such as end result thinking. So this is my 2 cents on that. When I say the end result is not evidence, I mean the end result is not evidence, and the end result proves nothing. But anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.